Meanwhile, there is talk of a global food crisis. Prices are increasing, supply is shaky. What should you be doing in such a situation? We'll try to answer that question, but first, look at what you should not be doing. Those are NRIs living in the US, non-resident Indians. Many of them have been flooding supermarkets. What for? To stock up on white rice, or rather to hoard. You can see them climbing on shelves to find more bags. Some families bought 10 to 15 of them. This frenzy does not help anyone. If you hoard supplies, you're creating a shortage, meaning prices will rise even more. So buy only what is necessary. Make sure you leave enough for others. Having said that, how did this frenzy begin? It began with an export ban by India. Last week, India stopped the export of non-basmati white rice. The monsoons were late, prices were rising, so India wanted to keep enough stock for domestic consumption. The downside? The global market was not ready for this kind of shock. You see, India makes up 40% of all rice exports, 40%. Around half of that is non-basmati rice. If that disappears from the market overnight, what will happen? Prices will rise. And that's exactly what is happening. Thailand and Vietnam were the first to hike the price. They increased it by $5 to $10 per tonne. But the fear is more hikes will follow. Traders are expecting prices to rise by $50 per tonne, 50. And even then, supply is not a guarantee. India ships around 20 million tons of rice. It is the largest exporter in the world. The next four are Thailand, Vietnam, Pakistan and the US. Just one problem though, even if you combine all of them, these four countries, it's not 22 million. So how will they plug the gap left by India? And even if they could, the prices will be ridiculous. Experts say this year's rice production will be the lowest in 20 years. Multiple reasons for that: bad weather, the war in Ukraine, even supply chain and fertilizer issues. The low output is expected to create a huge shortage. How much? Around 8.7 million tons. This is bad news for the entire world, but especially for Asia. Around 90% of rice produced in the world is consumed in this continent. 90%, it's a staple in this part of the world. But rice is not the only problem. Wheat prices are also rising. They rose by 6% in the last couple of weeks. And you can't blame the weather for this. This is purely man-made. Ukraine is the fifth largest wheat exporter in the world. They make up around 9% of the market. Until this month, Ukraine was allowed to ship that wheat. Russia did not attack their ships. It was called the Black Sea Grain Deal. But Russia has now pulled out of this agreement. What's worse, they're attacking Ukraine's warehouses. Take a look at these pictures. Russian drones struck the last remaining depots on Monday. So Ukraine cannot export wheat anymore. The result is this: a massive rise in prices. This is expected to affect developing countries more. Around 57% of Ukraine's exports went to these countries, developing countries. Only 43% went to developed ones. What does that mean for you? Ukrainian grains are used to produce flour and oil. So both these things will get more expensive. The United Nations realizes this. They played a key role in negotiating the Black Sea Grain Deal. The UN chief is asking Russia now to reconsider its decision. Listen to this.
With the termination of the Black Sea Initiative, the most vulnerable will pay the highest price, as when food prices rise, everybody pays for it. I call on the Russian Federation to return to the implementation of the Black Sea Initiative in line with my latest proposal.
And what exactly is this proposal? The UN says Russia can limit the number of ships involved in the trade, 8 per day. 4 ships will be allowed to dock. 4 ships will be allowed to leave. And what does Russia get in return? Their agriculture bank will be reconnected to SWIFT, which is a global payment system. So far, Putin is unmoved. He says returning to the deal is impossible. So it's a double whammy for the world: rice and wheat. Supplies are shaky. Together with corn, these two items make up 51% of the global diet. What can we do to safeguard it? India is trying to increase the area under rice cultivation, but the plan may or may not succeed because farmers have lost confidence in the monsoon. The rainfall is too erratic. So the area under cultivation may actually drop by the end of this year. As for wheat, the solution is quicker. Supplies are available but stuck in Ukraine. It's a totally avoidable situation. one that is pushing the world towards a food crisis.